public service, being a public servant, it's not an easy job. It's not, because by the end of the day, the actual work you're doing or the work you're pursuing are the same people who are going to throw stones at you. Yeah, by the end of the day, if you're doing all that, I am doing all this because I want to have a really good impact. Because politics for me, it was not an option. It was one of the only tools that was available for me to be able to open doors for our communities. Because we realized we were not in those spaces. Yeah. And those are where the major decisions are being made. Yeah. That is where our life is being dictated. Do you know that KCC actually has one of the largest spaces that we can host people? Ooh. Yes, in Kenya. Okay, Rwanda is a bit competitive right now, but generally in Kenya we are. Yes, we can host over 4,000 people in one area, in one space, not like the whole. And the compound is massive enough to hold over 10,000 people if we're doing concert. Yes, and I think that should be something that people can take advantage of. One of the things we actually changed was the fact that our CSR are targeted for young artists. So we give spaces for young artists to showcase their artwork and talent in all forms of where they want in major events. When we have major events, we give the spaces and corridors for free so that people can come and showcase that. Niomba kutoka mwana mzee natoka mama kiamruhusu kwenda kwa siasa siasa ndo ile mamona kitambi chake tu siasa, such kind of thing. Majaribu yako. In fact, one of my godfathers was very specific. He told me, if you want to survive in this area, akili iko hapa. Haiko huko unakoiona, iko hapa. Yeah. Not where we look at the akili, it is here. At the moment you know that this is where your akili is, and everything else becomes easier. And your focus should be that. I'm here to grow, learn, explore. Not explode.
Not explode.
Explode.
I love that. I love that statement. Yes. Not explode.
No.
Just explode.
Explode. You keep it here, you'll go far. But the moment you lose that, you become a toy. And no offense, men are just human beings. Siwatete, but just human beings.
Alright, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Life in Focus, only on Lifelines Network. My name is Miss Nani, and today we have an amazing lady. A lady who will inspire all of you to change your ways. She'll inspire you to dream, and she'll inspire you to have bigger dreams than the ones that you have already. So I'm excited to have her. But before we get to our guest today, remember to follow us on all our social media platforms, whether it's on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Just follow us and we will be getting the updates on every interview that we post on our YouTube channel. Speaking of the YouTube channel, have you subscribed? If not, where else will you be getting the interview that we are about to have today? So make sure you get there, subscribe, hit that notification bell to get all notifications concerning Lifeline Network. Let's get back to our guest now. Karibu sana kwa studio.
Excellent.
Yes, so I am glad to have you. You look great in green. Oh, thank you. Should I say green? You make green look better.
I think that is the word that should go with that.
Exactly, you make green look better.
Green needs me to look, the way it needs.
I know. So, please introduce yourself to our amazing viewers today.
Okay. My name is Mgeni Mboto Hassan. I am this young girl from Majengo, Mvita. And in Mombasa, actually, that's where I grew up in. I'm currently one of the youngest board of directors in KICC, Kenyatta International Convention Center. And majorly, my specialty is communications. I believe that communication is key in everything. So I majored in development communications, the aspect of being able to, analyze and actually simplify the policies in a manner that you, me, and every other Kenyan can be able to understand what it means for him or her. And that is how I was able to come on board in the political party, UDA, as one of the communications heads, so that we can help to do a bit of a strategic comms that works for the party and, of course, the common wananchi.
That's really amazing. You're one lady who's inspiring so many young ladies, especially in Mombasa. I had a conversation with one little girl, and she was like, "Ah, nataka kuongea kama ule mgeni," and I was so amazed that they actually know you. So you are inspiration to many, and we are very happy to have you here in Life in Focus. So speaking about something that we had already started having a conversation on, the fact that you are a director. Madam, please tell us about that.
I know it's so funny that these sort of jobs or these sort of titles were actually meant for all people.
Yeah.
For real, because people thought like you need to have 25 years of experience in a specific field, you know, and then now you can sit there and give strategic decisions over parastatal. So differently came, this is actually the first time young people have been involved in these big titles and big posts due to the fact that it's one of the segments that cannot be dismissed. Young people can't be dismissed.
Yeah.
No matter what they can't be dismissed. So the only way is when you need to, you know, when they don't give you a seat at the table, you know, the whole saying, what you take your own folded chair and really try and make, a seat for yourself, which is really important. But I like the fact that that happened for me because it changed a lot of things. I can personally say it is one of the biggest achievements that I love being in that board, in being able to give different views. I know it's usually a back and forth sort of a thing because you have people who have a different mindset than you and these ways of doing things. And then you think about, why can't we do it differently? And they look at you like, maybe you're a little bit crazy. You shouldn't say that things. But giving an example, you know how people perceived what KCC used to like it to be. It's this old building of old people, literally an old building of old people.
Yeah,
and it was a perception and a mindset issue that had to be changed. A convention center, as what was stipulated in the Tourism Act of 2012, it's a convention center where people meet up for business and incentives. So. And the business of the day nowadays, even conventions of digital games, conventions of AI, convention of technology is still meeting.
Yeah.
We had one of the biggest African climate summit in Africa, in Nairobi, in KCC. And we proved that it is not just
an old building for old people. It's more than that.
African Youth Summit in Nairobi, in KCC, to prove that it is a place for young people. And I think you saw it lately when we're trying to do these themed events. I know when I gave out that idea when I was chair for marketing in the board, and people were looking at me, what do you think this is? Is it a club or something? Like, no, I'm looking at a way that we have forgotten a specific segment of and business, because it's a business entity. It's supposed to generate money for the country. You remember when the president stood and actually told Kenyans that KCC can make 30 million in a year. And that is the truth. And we are moving towards it. In a span of 2 years, it was the first time actually KCC made money in a way that we no longer rely on the exchequer.
Wow.
Yes, and it's something that is a deliberate attempt. It's a deliberate and intentional attempt, having leadership in the board that gives a directive that we are going to make sure that we make money in this segment. You're putting targets in this segment, and we are going to run this institution the way it should be, with no the cartelism and all that, so that it can actually make money for Kenya.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. So give me a picture of how you operate in that building, because the fact that you are the youngest, I can already picture how the rest are. So tell me, how do you operate in meetings?
Well, I like to say, I feel like I had one of really good, open-minded. I don't want to call old people, but older people, age people, that we call them baby bloomers. I think the baby bloomers, that generation. And they're very receptive. I like the fact that I don't get shut out from speaking out, which is something I think a lot of young people really face. Previously though, not in the board that I was previously though, it was a bit, it's called what do you call it, like something I've never actually said before. And the people that I went into, the first intimidation or the first reason, they told me, you're too young to be here. a previous board that I was in. And it really hit me so hard to the point that it really worked on my self-esteem. So when I went to this different board in tourism, I felt like, can I also speak out? Or this will be also the same thing that I'm told that I'm too young to either say something, or I'm too young to make really valid decisions. Yeah, and that story, I really want to say it very fully one day to inspire young people not to ever believe that that is the truth. So it's a stereotype nature that our nini, kuna ule msemo wa wahenga. I'm not saying wahenga sio hawajelewi or anything of the sort, but wanasema kuwa ni ngoma ya nani haikeshi, vijana, sort of like that. But we have a lot of energy and we have a lot of fresh ideas, and that's what I brought to the board at KCC, and it's amazing. I mean, you can actually now see the perception that is different like this there. People hold concert. We have one of the biggest, it's called this fountains, so that we can attract any content creator, anyone that wants to spend time there. We even do weddings. People never thought we actually run weddings. We did a really huge wedding at the helipad. It's about changing perception. The marketing concept needs to be different because we are looking at a different sector of businesses, and we are making money in that context.
That's really nice. There's something that I saw on your Facebook page, something to do with the Swahili night at KICC, and it hit me on the face like, okay, KICC are doing this too. Please tell me about that, because I know definitely that was something to do with you. So tell me something about that.
Well, yeah, it was when I was chair of marketing in board, and we are looking at avenues to make more money because it is part of the job to give strategic direction and ways to increase, revenue. And we thought about so many things. People do theme nights, people do cultural nights. And why are we not opening up KCC for that? And this is one of the ways to change perception, how people view KCC, not as business as usual. It's also a place for burudani. People come together and showcase their culture. We have this space. Do you know that KCC actually has one of the largest spaces that we can host people?
Ooh.
Yes, in Kenya. Okay, Rwanda is a bit competitive right now, but generally in Kenya we are. Yes, we can host over 4,000 people in one area, in one space, not like the whole. And the compound is massive enough to hold over 10,000 people if we are doing concert. Yes, and I think that should be something that people can take advantage of.
Oh, I think they should. And I think the artists are listening to that and they're going to be looking for you very soon.
In fact, one of the things we actually changed was the fact that our CSR are targeted for young artists. So we give spaces for young artists to showcase their artwork and talent in all forms of where they want in major events. When we have major events, we give the spaces and corridors for free for the young people can come and showcase that.
Please repeat that for the artist who's watching us right now, because I think that's something that I don't think I've heard of that as of yet, and that's really, really inspiring that you had the artists in mind when you were bringing that on. So yeah, artists all over the country.
Anyone, if you have something you need to showcase, we're talking about artists in different sectors, artwork, you have your hand-broidered artwork, the skill that artists have, and you need to showcase it anyway. We actually give you a whole setup like a gallery so that you can put up your work and people can either buy it because, the target audiences, people will either buy it and all that, so they can showcase your work so that people can buy. And it's one of the CSR that is kept specifically for young people.
Wow. That's really amazing. Now, moving on from the fact that you are a director, there's something else that you are engaged in. That is a program for young politicians in Africa. So please tell me about that.
Well, the actually program targets young people in political parties because we understand that political parties are the ones that actually push agendas from nominations to elections, because political parties are entitled to do that. And the fact that we fought for multi-party democracy, we should be enjoying that. So the program is actually aimed at young people who are in political parties because, political parties are the way to do elective for that. And we apply, actually it's a transparent process. We apply through the political parties and then you get selected and you go through a vigorous leadership training sessions. We had one in Uganda previously. There were so many different cohorts every year. So this year we are doing one in Uganda and we're actually doing another one in Mombasa. So the idea is to bring in a different caliber of youth leaderships that are integrity based, that are have content. you need to base your arguments or your why, the reason, the why that you want to run, or the why that is pushing you to really run for an elective position, an active elective position, or gives you the morale and the leadership and the skills that are needed for you to be in active politics.
That's really interesting. Now, there is something that you said, you're targeting youth in political parties. How does a youth get to be in a political party?
Yeah, I know it's actually one of those things. People think political parties don't favor youth, one or the other, or people find that political parties use young people, but there's always a youth wing. One of the oldest, actually, when I'm interacting with the network of the young people in Africa, and I found that one of the oldest political parties that has institutionalized even the youth leagues and the women leagues is called the CCM. Chama cha Mapinduzi.
Yeah.
And then hate it, love it, but it's one of the oldest political parties, even NRM. And they have institutionalized even the youth league and the youth wing and the women wing. Something that I believe also one of we should be able to adopt and be able to do that. As actually party UDA, we're actually doing that through the grassroots elections that we are doing. So it's important for young people to want to be in political parties, because they give you a platform for you to run for elections. Because now, though you have to really want to be in it, you have to, it's like one of those things, democratic things that you need to do, the more democratic spaces that want to be. If you want to vote, you have to actually take a voting card. It's the same way. You want to vie, you need to identify with a political party that aligns with your values and your principles, or what you believe in and what the political party actually believes in. And you go there and register, and either say you want to be an official, which currently we are doing right now. We are it's an open, political party. You can come in and say you want to run for an official, which is a structural way of the grassroots mobilization structure of the party. And you vie and you get voted in, universal suffrage, the same way you get voted in any other elective post. And you become either youth leader in Mombasa County, you become the youth leader in your ward representation or in your constituency. So it's intentionalizing your thought. And then it builds your character as a leader, and then it gives you a lot of momentum. It gives you a lot of spaces for you to be able to now impact your community one way or the other.
So there's no lengthy process for somebody to become let's use an example of the party you're in right now, and that is UDA. What is the process for actually somebody to be a member? Is it lengthy, a lot of documentation? Is there a fee to pay?
It is literally free, no documentation. Technology is here for us. It's a USSD.
Oh,
yeah, and you register, you become part of the party member. But now, if you want to now take it a notch higher, you just don't want to be a member, you want to vie for political party the same way, 5 minutes you register on the website, you want to vie for this specific post, and you get all the updates if you're running elections. Like currently, we will be doing the ward elections, whereby we are going to be voting for the ward elections, which is youth representative. Speaking of a ward, tuseme kama Majengo.
Yeah.
Panjengo is a ward in its own. So now where young people have registered want to be representative that ward, because that is I can say that is the lowest, not the lowest, but the almost lowest, because we have other grassroots, we are called the polling centers.
Yeah.
One of the lowest grassroots mobilization where they'll be involved in actually not just making the manifesto for the party, but being able to say a voice, because every voice matters, in the major decision maker of the national or the national, which is the highest level of the political party representative.
That's really interesting. I think the youth should partake in such a thing. Get to the political party that you feel aligns with your beliefs and your values, and register. It's about time.
Yes, take the initiative.
Yeah, there's something that I also noticed, that you are actually a winner of the best campaign speech. And I'm listening to you talking. I'm like, okay, I know why now. but I need you to also tell our viewers something about that, and also give us some few pointers on how Miss Nani can get the best campaign speech ever.
Oh, yeah. It was. I don't think it was. I like to say it was like a spur of the moment thing, but. I was dead scared. of being in a podium, of speaking out or having a conversation in a massive, audience of people. And then we had a political rally. And I decided this is like one of those goals that you make every year. One of the goals for me for that year was do every uncomfortable things that needs to be done. And one of them was speaking in a public, in a really huge rally. One of the most uncomfortable things. And do it in my mother tongue. I know.
Okay.
I know. It was one of those things. I imagine how it will be in my head, but the execution was so amazing. Of course, I was literally dying inside. Like if I wanted the earth to swallow me for some reason, known to God. But it was so inspiring and so overwhelming adrenaline rush that I said, I think this is it. I want to do this again and again and again and again and again and again. But I just had to cross that borderline between fear and dead right, fear of all things, the worst feeling you can ever feel, and get to understand that I actually love talking in podiums. I take every opportunity to speak in podiums. Yes. And the campaign message was based on young people, especially watoto wa Kiswahili. I feel like we think that public service or politics is mtu mwingine atafanya. And I keep asking myself, who is this mtu mwingine atafanya? Or if you actually sit and stay away because you believe your community or where you live, it's okay, it's developed enough. I think that's a very sufficiency. What about the other places that people actually expect you to have a bit of an impact? So public service is what drives me to do the campaign messages so that I can get to people. Like I said, my specialty is in making sure to address the policy in a way that everybody has understand. So I just took one of the policies in education and I talked to young people about it in a way that it made sense to them. And that's how I won the campaign message of the year.
That is really amazing. And as people from Mombasa, we're very proud to actually call you our own. And we are really, really happy that you are actually presenting us very, very magnificently up there. So there's a question that I know you are very well versed in, and I think it is important that I get to ask you so that the young people watching us can actually get to learn. Last year we were in the streets and we had a very huge media campaign. We had a very huge social media campaign. Now my question would be, how do you think we should translate this digital activism into actually tangible political changes in the country?
Thank you so much. I think that is long overdue. It is long overdue. We have, as Kenyan youth, we have actually been out there and said that we understand our rights, we know our rights, and we want good governance. But no one can say you're leaderless. And how are you going to get organized?
Good.
How are we going to exercise our democratic rights? How are we going to get the changes that we need? I was given an example of us getting a multi-party democracy. That was intentional. A group of people who were actually young that back then sat down and actually said that we want a multi-party democracy. Even if they went to the street to protest, but they organized in such a manner that we got here. So it is not just protest in its own. It's about organizing in a manner that is moving one step forward to us getting the leaders that we want. And the only way is to be able to organize and actually vote in one of the only other democratic process based on the same constitution that say sovereignty belongs to the people. It is our power, right? So why are we not exercising the same way that we exercise our rights through being organized and going through the elective process? Young people, sote tusimame, everyone check a constitution, a constituency where you are. Simama MCA, simama ubunge, simama senate, simama women. Why not? The constitution is actually clear. As long as you're above 18 and you want to simama, and then now mobilize young people to vote for you. But pattern and pattern again has actually told us that the major people that actually vote are women, because we're the 54% of women that are the ones that are voters. Young people, we don't organize ourselves. We freeze all out in campaign. We freeze all out in elections. And we don't have a voice by then. We have a voice now when it's in the streets. But when it gets to the actual action of us actualizing, we don't take kura, tuchukui kura. We don't register to go and vote. How are we going to vote for young people like me to be the senator? Vote for young people, a person like me to be the women rep, so that I can actually go into the legislative process and not pass bills that don't align with what we want. Why we don't exercise that? That is the only thing I keep saying. We have to organize or we will frizzle out. And it's as simple as that.
That's really, really powerful. Tuchukue hiyo kura, tukutane kwa ballot box. That is the only solution. Tuachane na hashtags.
Yes.
Let's get to the polling station now.
Yes. Tweet. No one is saying you shouldn't tweet. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
And then what? Umeiacha wapi? Kwa Twitter. You have 1.2 million K followers. Yeah. Wow, brilliant, really great. Then what's next? Why don't you have that 1.2 million followers in actual sense that are going to vote for you?
Yeah, that is a very good question.
Why don't you have the 300K views, the 300K followers actually going to the ballot and say, because social media was supposed to be used for you to amplify our voices. It's supposed to be used in this manner so that people can get inspired and actually understand. But then by the end of it, I'm walking the talk. I'm getting out of the talk show after speaking. I am actually going to mobilize young people and say, this is the direction we need to go. Because that is walking the talk. But you cannot just tweet in your own house and you say, I'm an introvert, so I can't, this is the only way. It is one of the ways, but take the next step.
We need more. As you said, go beyond that boundary of fearing and actually doing something. That's really... Now, you're telling us to actually vie for these seats. An MC, a senator here, a governor. Now, you are one of the young leaders who have sort of, conquered in the political world. So, what are the challenges that you faced and what did you do to overcome them? Because probably there's a viewer watching and she says, okay, I want to become an MC. So what challenges am I supposed to expect and how am I going to fight them?
See, when we say that we need new ways for new solutions and they will not be solved by old solution. So this narrative, the way mtu asema ukitaka kuvai lazima uwe very liquefied, you need to have money. Maki ukifika pale ulizwa mheshimiwa usinipe ya macho. Mheshimiwa, and all you're trying to do is change the same people that are seated next to you. So first is about changing people's perception. Mwambie mimi kijana mwenzenu kama nyinyi mnavoniona. The reason why I actually want to run from MCA seat is because I believe I'm the solution. Mi pia sina pesa kama nyinyi. All I'm asking you is I know your problems. I understand your problems. I have lived your problem. Kwa hivyo naomba munipigie kura ili niende nikawa represent. Lakini kumbuka young people don't have money. So by the end of the day, someone who is older, who has more money alieka, akaja waambia atawanunua kwa shilingi 200, kwa shilingi 300, and the same people sisi ndo tutanunuliwa wakati wa kura. Then what? We go vote for that guy that gave us 300, 200, and you have the right to come back and sit and cry and say you're not being represented very well. You chose to sell your representation. So eat that. But the moment you actually go in with a sober mind and say, it's not about the money. So if there's money, eat it. No one is saying. But actually choosing a leader that you believe aligns with your values and will present you very well. That is the perception we have to change. Ndo watu vijana vidogo kama sisi ambao tuna mamilioni to run a huge campaign can actually be in these spaces so that we can change the policies that are there and meant for young people. Because we're not going to be young forever. But whatever impact we are going to be making there will favor the generations to come. And that is all about leadership.
That's nice. That's true though. Okay, now speaking of the Africa that we're building, what is the vision do you have? There is a question of, in a utopia world, what would Africa look like to you?
The Africa, the motherland. Oh God, the boldness we have. The power that just... comes out from the young people. It is a rich continent. We're talking every sector of richness, not just for brilliancy of the intellectuals of the mind, or the minerals and the vastness of our continent in terms of the gold and copper and everything that comes from this. we should be walking around wearing gold in our, like, I mean,
I love the passion you have concerning this.
yes,
Uh-huh.
but we're selling our soul. We're selling our, and we need to move away, because I'm a patriotic in terms, I believe in Africanism. And I think it's a bit selfish, but I believe we have every power to liberate ourselves. We have all the resources and all the money we can be able to make to be able to run Africa the way, without AIDS and all those things that come and jeopardize and give us a sort of interdependency. Then we forget that we actually have a lot of strength that is with us. So Africa, I was actually having that same conversation when we, in the morning, I think I was talking one of the facilitators, and I said, when you ask a young person, maybe if he's a very ambitious person, he'll just tell you, yeah, I want to be Senate, I want to be, a governor, or I want to. They are looking at it at the national level. They're forgetting that Africa is as massive as it gets. Why don't you want to be the Secretary General of the AU?
Why?
Why don't you want to be chairman of, like Raila, but of course when you're younger version of him, why don't you want to be that? There's massiveness in how we need to dream. But if we all think local and then we forget there's Africa, who's going to look at Africa? And Africa is a continent, needs the young people like us, all the opportunities that are there for young people like us, so that we set the pace of Africa, how it will look, so that our vision, our vibrancy, on us wearing gold in every finger and toes and everything can be achieved. Because we have it. Yeah. Why not?
We do.
And the beauty that is in Africa, it's the natural resources. It's just
true.
It's amazing. So why don't we actualize it? And it's in the power of us, the people who have actually, the energy to do that.
Well, speaking of that person with the energy to do that, we are looking at the leaders that we're supposed to, elect, because most of the countries in Africa are actually democratic. They go to the ballot and choose their leaders. As a young person, what would you say are the principles of the leaders that we should be actually choosing to actually get to a point where we're actually wearing gold in every finger and every toe?
Well, for me, let me go back to say how I got inspired with the Hasna narrative. It spoke to me because it spoke to the economy. It said bottom up. It doesn't start uko juu inaanza chini. Because that spoke to me in a manner that I felt this is the direction that I want to go. This is a leader that understands that it's us making the pyramid. It's not the other way around. And that made sense for me to say that I want to align myself with the President Ruto. And that's why I went above and beyond. We started the Youth League, UDA in Mombasa. We were heading it. And we used to go and campaign in every sector, in Kirinyaga, whatever it takes for us to actually spread the word what this has narrative. It spoke to me and I believed it. And I still do believe in it. And it's not easy. It's not easy because we are used to the inverted pyramid.
Yeah.
Yes. So this one becomes a bit tricky. So to now stabilize it. I remember even our neighbor country, when Magufuli was tightening things up, what he said was, you will remember me one day. Because he made sure that we need to tighten. Tukaze kamba kidogo lakini vitu vitakuwa sawa.
Yeah.
And tumekaza kamba kidogo vitu vitakuwa sawa. And I love the fact that Kenya is a democratic country. We will not be protesting, we will not be doing all those things that we're doing. You think the neighbor country can't do that? Yes. That shows the sort of leaders we have.
Yeah.
Yes, kuna makosa yafanyika hapa na pale, because lazima binadamu hayo kamili, kuna mambo mengi ambayo yafanyika with or without the knowledge. But the fact that we can go to the street and protest, the fact that we can say whatever we want to say, shows that Kenya is actually a democratic country.
Yeah.
And it needs a leader who is strong enough I wanted to say a different word, strong enough to handle that. It is not easy seated at somewhere and people do whatever they want to do in the name of democracy, and you say that is okay because that is the more democratic right.
Yeah,
that's a leader I think I want to align myself with.
I love that. There is a statement that I got to read on your Facebook page. I have been stalking you all day. But there's one that really caught my eye, and that is hashtags don't sign bills. Our votes representations, hence politicians do that. So the question is, are you rallying the other youths to become politicians, or what is the statement there?
The statement is, hashtag is not enough. Like what I was saying, it needs this next thing. Go do the hashtag. Go do the tweet with all the hashtag. But by the end of the day, you know who's going to be signing that bill?
The person you chose.
Yes, the representation.
Thank you.
By the end of the bill, that's the person that you sent there to represent you on behalf of Vita constituency, on behalf of Mombasa County, on behalf of even at the local level, Majengo ward, is the person that is going to, so it needs to speak a lot. That person needs to speak to your aspirations. And your hashtag, if you feel that it's not enough, if you feel that you have the passion and the energy and you know you have whatever it takes, what is stopping you to be that politician? And you already know that that is how our constitution works. How else are you going to be able to sign that base if you don't become that politician?
True. Good question. Good question. That was Mgeni Mboto right here, asking us a lot of questions. I thought these was supposed to be our interview to you, but in return you're asking us too many questions. I think our viewers will be answering each one of them personally. And when they get the answers, I'm sure they're going to also be commenting all of those answers on our YouTube channel. And I hope that you'll be keen and also very, ready to answer those questions that you'll be getting on our YouTube channel. Are we going to go on a short break? Remember, this is Life in Focus only on Lifelines Network. We are on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Make sure you give us a follow, and you're going to get all updates concerning the stories we bring you right here on Life in Focus. My name is Miss Noni. See you in a few. Welcome back to Life in Focus. Previously, we talked to our amazing guest and we got to hear all about her work, and she asked us a lot of questions that I know you guys will be answering in the comment section, and also asking her the questions that you wish that she answered during this interview. Remember, this is Life in Focus. We are on every social media platform: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us, give us a follow. Make sure that you stay updated on all the interviews that we'll be having on Lifelines Network. We go back to our guest. Tumesikia kazi yako nzuri. Tumesikia yale mawazo uko nayo kwa sababu ya vijana. Umetuliza maswali mengi sana. And I love the fact that you're throwing questions to us, because I think it's about time that we got to answer these questions. Now we go back to, the moment the Mgeni we know was born. You were born years ago. We're not going to specify the year, because we're ladies. Nobody wants to know, and we do not want to share our age. But we want to know, when was that moment you realized that you want to serve the community, be a public servant, and that?
At that moment came in actually in secondary. Yes, I remember, because I went to Coast Girls, just here. And actually, I didn't want to go to Coast Girls. I think that is where it started. It started the fact that this culture and society, that I was actually chosen to go to a boarding school. If I remember very clearly, it was a boarding school in Bundaenyi, way from where it's the norm. And then, of course, our culture and parents were like, that is far. How are you going to survive? It's a boarding school, the sort of thing. And it's sort of, I want to be up there. I want to explore. Niso Mr. of the Sea, niende Coast Girls, niende JKUAT, hapa Mombasa campus. I work at, I'm like, where are you going to explore the world? How are you going to see the world?
Yeah.
But I gave in and said, Sawa, I can go to that place. But when it hit in campus, and then the same excuse came that, why don't you just go harbor, this is a very, the society will just want, this is mtoto wa Kiislamu, mbali huko, sijui Baluyani, sijui Georgia huko, mbali, itakuwa tabu, sijui nini. That is the day I realized I don't want this confinement in one spaces and people detecting what you should view the world in what lenses. And at that moment, I knew that I wanted more. I wanted more from whatever this is life is all about. So I actually lobbied and prayed that they don't have that cause in this, in Mombasa campus.
Oh.
And God... I was so happy. The Bazaar, there's the dean of students. When I went to that, and he looked at me like, I thought you wanted to come. You're like, I know I want to come to university, but not this one. I want to explore out there. And at that moment, when I went to Juja campus, I'm an alumni of JKUAT, I realized there's this beautiful world out here. Yes, it is tough. It is not easy. It's not the one that ukifika nyumbani, there's food, you microwave, eat all that. It's different. But it gives you a different perspective. And I realized there are so many opportunity. I got into student leadership. I wanted to be our coordinator. I anchor my values in religions. I do believe in that. So I wanted to, take leadership positions. And actually that is what exploded me. And I wanted to differentiate what is culture, what is my religion say, and what are people perceptions about it. It actually made me go an extra mile and learn my religion again, not the curriculum of madrasa, the university. If to get a actually degree in education, but that is specifically for my own way of understanding what are the restrictions that I grew up knowing that watoto wa kike hawezi kufanya hiki, watoto wa kike hawezi kufanya hiki. It's just a culture thing. Our religion is as beautiful as it gets, and it gives us a lot of spaces as young people, as women, to be out there.
That's interesting. Now, speaking of these, watoto wa kike hawafai kufanya hivi, could you please maybe specify? Because I know there's a lady watching. Now, probably they are meant to be one of the greatest leaders we've ever seen, but they're restricted by things to do with culture and the beliefs of the society. Not per se religion, but, the box that the society have made for them. So what are the things that you were told that you couldn't do when you realized, I am allowed to do it all?
Like I said, I grew up in Majengo, Vita. So, and kulikuwa na hii tabia kukaa maskani, mwakatu na wasichana wenzenu. And then people will speak. Mtu atakwambia, mimi nikimaliza form 4 nitaenda kuolewa. I don't have anything against religion. I married young. It's very important. I mean, I don't have anything against marriage. It's very important. But then I'll be like, yeah, that's obvious. Everyone at some point is going to get married. Like, but what do you want to do? Like, nini? Mi nitakuolewa tu, nitafanya tu biashara ya vile mamangu yafanya viazi, mi pia nitafanya hivyo. And then some other people will actually support that, and other people support it. Why? Because wewe ni mtoto wa kike. So there's nothing much that will be expected of you. And the moment you, that is the expectation of you. So, I say, but I want to go to university. When you say that, they actually laughed. Literally on my face. Wanaambia ukitaka university labda mtauza ile nyumba yenu, muuze sijui nini, muzoe ndo ufike university. Watekesha hiyo university kama
wewe.
University inatukaa nyinyi. I was that statement hurt, but at the same time it made me realize kwa university ndio watu kina I mean, we are the same people na Mboto tuweza kwa university, but then it's the perception that has put me in that. And everyone agreed in the same space that whatever I'm thinking is crazy. That, sisi hapa Majengo Mvita, mimi nitaka kujua kuchora. I don't have anything against those jobs.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there is more to that. Iwaiza tuweza fanya anything that we want. But then, hiyo degree yako utakwenda kuifanya. Kisha utaolewa alafu utaeka jikoni, utaibandika pale jikoni. Si itaenda jikoni, utakwenda pika, utampikia mumeo, sio utakuwa maisha yako. But that's not really what our religion say. That actually made me want to find out. Is that what it's meant for Muslim women specifically? Am I just a culture concept? And then, that is what I realized, it's our society. Kwa sababu watoka Majengo ndo hatuwezi kusoma, ama what is the big deal? And then I realized it's just this culture way, or the society way, that is expecting that is enough. It's enough for you.
So you're not supposed to think of more.
Form 4 hiyo ishatosha. Hata degree yako ukaenda, mume wako kukataza ufanye kazi, utafanya nini, utaiweka hapo juu. You know, such kind of comments.
I get it.
Yeah, they really made me think differently. They made me want to realize. That's when I said I went a bit higher and actually learn to figure out what is culture, what is society, and what is the religion that says.
So the message that you basically want to pass is, if a lady is in that position, they should actually get a point of actually learning the difference between culture and you know, religion and what they say, and decide actually.
Exactly. That's the only thing is I put in myself is reading to some. That is the only way we can liberate our minds and actually get to understand what difference and what it makes you different from the other person. Manake hata dini yetu, it emphasizes on reading. It says very well in the hadith and the prophets that you should get knowledge even if it's in China, as far as that. And that is something that was 1400s before BC, and that is something that was said. It's actually a quote from the prophet himself. And the prophet didn't become a prophet until the day we actually learned how to read. Read. It emphasizes on us reading and understanding, getting that knowledge. And now you know what you're going to do with the knowledge. That it sets you apart from the other different person. Lakini tusoma tu for the sake of kusoma tupike form 4. We're not reading to acquire knowledge and understand what it shapes and what you want to be.
That's nice. And it's also very eye-opening, because most of the time these are two concepts that are, you know, you will mistake culture for religion, because I've had stories of Islam wafanyi hivi, but now getting to actually understand Islam, you're like, okay, that has nothing to do with Islam. It's more of your culture now,
your society and perception of that, not and how you interpret. But it's actually one of the things that I don't want to call it chauvinism, but it's in the male chauvinism when they interpret the religion to favor what.
The male requiring the male.
Atakaingia nyumbani, mke wake anapikia, you know, all those kind. I'm not being a feminist. But then if that same woman is out there being a brain surgeon, atakuja sangapi ikifika chakula kiko mwenye akae ke maguu juu and all that kind of thing, to be, you know, in that way, they, you know, the version of getting relative a child that I don't know. But that's not really religion.
But now going back to the same point, do you think as you know, the younger generation, we have left the traditions and the norms of marriage, or we are too busy to, you know, be all that?
I know. Actually, this comes from my mother all the time, and you'll be like, you need to strike a balance. That's the most important thing, because the balance is the key here. I don't believe in feminism, in all the concepts that we say that men are equal to women. No, I believe in equity, and I don't believe in the whole concept of men equal. I am still a baby girl. I am a baby girl. Protected. I want, I want the protection that a marriage and men offer. I want to, you know, have someone who can lead, have a vision, and be able to say that he's man of the house. I want all that. But then it's not the same way as when it's focused on different lenses or different culture. It's not the same way. So I'm not a feminist. I'm not advocating that we should all just deny, no, marriage is there and it's in our institution and institutionalized, it's in our religion, it's very explicit, but it doesn't say that it limits to you to be who you want to be.
There's also a statement that I had that sort of scares me. I am a Christian, and it is a conversation I was having with a 20-year-old lady, and she feels like marriage is the end. You know, it's the end, because you are going to school, but you're going to get married. And I'm realizing that most ladies don't actually have a vision beyond the fact that they got married today. So what would you tell such a person, being the fact that you have actually created a whole empire, whole world after marriage?
After marriage, I got married early. Actually got married when I was 21. Yes, I got married when I was 21. And I I didn't let marriage limit me because I married a person who understood what I want. We both met in campus. So kwa nini wewe ndo umesoma zaidi ama wewe ndo uelewa zaidi? I mean, we met in an institution that is, that is for learning. So it means I want to do something with my knowledge, or the same way you want to do something with your knowledge. There's a lot of sacrifice women do. That is a fact. Even in marriage, we do that. That is something we cannot deny. But it shouldn't limit you to not to be in marriage, because it's a beautiful institution. Mwenyewe pia umelelewa kutoka kwa babako na mamako who sacrificed and came out to you. That's how you came out this beautifully and well, valued and understanding the importance of family. At the end of it all, we all fall back to what? Family. Yeah. And that is the key, most important thing in our society. So family starts with marriage. So I in fact advocate, like all my friends, like most of all my friends are like married. If they're not married, when are you getting married? When are we playing that? It is important, but then I'm not telling you the box you get married, you swallow into it, and then you forget who you are, and all the things and values and ambitions, they disappear because you're a mother. What are you trying to tell your daughter or your son?
That's really amazing. I'm loving this conversation, by the way, because you're the second guest to actually talk about this topic, and I'm loving the fact that the youth, and especially youth leaders, are actually, bringing this new perspective of marriage, because it's a forgotten topic per se. We have so many negative comments in the media concerning marriage. There's an example we were given, when you're watching a movie currently, there's always a storyline of somebody co-parenting with somebody, or a divorcee, fighting with another divorcee. But I'm loving these topics that we are actually talking about positive things when it comes to marriage.
Yes.
Now, going back kidogo, you as a young lady, politics is a dirty game. Yes. Politics is a dirty game. And it's something that scares our parents, especially because they know these things. And sometimes they feel we do it out of ignorance. So what was how did your parents take it to your siblings when you showed them that, okay, this is the direction that I want to take now?
I think they were scared. Like literally scared. I think one of the reasons why I had to get married early was that, because they would think like nitawaibisha, ushaelewa, kwenda kwa siasa na watoto kike kwa siasa fine, wenda kutumika tu, utatumika alafu uache nini, vitu kama hivyo. So and one of the reason actually they decided, like, I think it's time you should get married, because they wanted to make sure if you get pregnant, it's not in their house, you're in someone's wow. Because the shame doesn't come to them, because they don't know where you go.
So it was more of let us transfer this problem to another person.
So that sio kwa nyumba yetu kwa msichana mwana. Then I become now a negative example to other. Niombe mama kutoka. Mwana mzee natoka, mama kiamruhusu wenda kwa siasa, siasa ndo ile. Mama ana kitambi chake hili. Siasa, such kind of things. Or better yet, everybody knows, what you do in that space of politics, because it takes, there's this word that we're always being taught, and always been told, it takes a different level of balls for a young person, especially a woman, to be in politics. Ooh. In fact, you just need to have balls. Yeah. Simple as that. There's no other way out.
Still balls.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. There's no other way, because majaribu yako, in fact yako, one of my godfathers was very specific. He told me, if you want to survive in this area, akili iko hapa. Haiko huku unakoiona, iko hapa. Yeah. Not where we look at the akili, it is here. At the moment you know that this is where your akili is, and everything else becomes easier. And your focus should be that. I'm here to grow, learn, explore. Not explore.
Not explore.
Explore.
I love that. I love that statement. Yes. Not explore.
No.
Just explore.
Explore. You keep it here, you'll go far. But the moment you lose that, you become a toy. And no offense, men are just human beings. Siwatete, but just human beings. So by the end of the day, it's the direction you choose. But actually, we get this a lot. This is actually one of the topics I also want to understand. After me being here where I am, on social media, utaona matusi ni yale.
Yeah.
Oh, yulala na huu, yulala na huu, yulala na yule, yafika pale, I'll be like, damn, my post is still really sweet. The fact that I can get to that level because of that. There will be some really good, thing that I have to the point that, but it's also that perception that comes because women believe that is the only trait they have.
Oh, yeah. And that's very sad, actually, because if that's the only question or the only thing we bring to the table, then we are heading nowhere as a country and as a generation.
Yes.
I love having this conversation with you. I wish we could have the whole day. I think we can make a whole 24-hour podcast just talking. It was very amazing having you here at Life in Focus. And now it is time that you give us your parting shot. I know we are going to be having you here very soon.
Okay.
Again, because I feel that we still have a lot to explore concerning you and about you. So look at this camera, give us a parting shot, and we continue.
I think my parting shot, I just want to be talking holistically, not just to young people. I feel like if we just talk to young people, we'll be limiting yourself. Public service, being a public servant, it's not an easy job. It's not, because by the end of the day, the actual work you're doing or the work you're pursuing are the same people who are going to throw stones at you. Yeah, by the end of the day, if you're doing all that, I am doing all this because I want to have a really good impact. Because politics for me, it was not an option. It was one of the only tools that was available for me to be able to open doors for our communities. Because we realized we were not in those spaces.
Yeah.
And those are where the major decisions are being made.
Yeah.
That is where our life is being dictated. And if we don't have an integrity leader, a person who is knowledgeable, a person who understands the plea and actually has lived that and knows what it feels to be a young person, to be a young woman, and to be in those spaces, then you will not get the leader that is needed.
Yeah.
So all the time I ask myself, if not me, then who?
Yeah.
I am also that same young person. If it's not me, then who? Because also my voice matters in everything that I do. And I have a right to be heard. And I want to excel at that, to just not being heard, but to be doing to the actual things. I have transversed in Mombasa County. I've been in assemblies because it's the advocacy, the lobbying, and institutionalizing governance has been a passion ever since I was 19 years old. 10 years down the line, I want to take this next step and say, I think I've learned, I have grown, and I want to be in Senate. I want to be in the legislative spaces, and I want to make the impact that needs to be made for my people.
Thank you. That is really amazing. And we hope that you'll be coming back here soon and telling us what will be, if you want us to go to the ballot, we need somebody that we can actually trust on those ballot papers. Exactly.
If kapala unaona young face yangu,
mtu amepaka makeup, ameng'ara na green hapo, ni huyo. Thank you so much for joining us today. That was our amazing guest, Miss Mgeni, and we had an amazing time. We had very insightful conversations, and I know that we're going to be having you back here very soon for part 2 of this.
Definitely. Where I want to know the real insights of things on how to survive in politics, because the shit is not
That should be a whole episode. That should be a whole episode. Remember, this is Life in Focus, and we are on all social media platforms. So it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Make sure you give us a follow, and you're going to get updates on when this episode will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. And when you get there, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you can get update on every story that we bring you right here. My name is Miss Nani. Until next time, adios.